as we witness what's happening around the world, and we see a lot of pain, we see a lot of suffering, we see innocent people being killed, including children. We hear about famine and starvation, and we see a lot of dhulm and oppression that seems to never end. As we witness this, certain thoughts and questions can naturally come to a person's mind. Certain thoughts and questions can naturally come to a person's mind. Why is there so much evil? Why is there so much suffering? Why are certain people so inhumane? These types of questions. And these series of questions, they can lead to other questions about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where is Allah in all of this? Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing this to happen? Why is He not preventing it? Where is the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Isn't He Ar-Rahim, the most merciful? Isn't He Al-Latif, the most kind? Why is that? And the danger here is, if these thoughts and questions are not addressed, if they continue to linger in a person's heart, what can happen is that these thoughts and questions can slowly eat away a person's iman, a person's faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in some cases, what can happen is, because of these thoughts and questions, a person can leave the fold of Islam altogether. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He teaches us in Surah Al-Kahf, one of the surahs, one of the chapters in the Quran that it is recommended for us to read every single Friday. In this surah, Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us an important lesson with the interaction between Musa ﷺ, one of the great prophets and messengers of Allah, and Al-Khidr, a wali from the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. An important lesson Allah teaches us in their story, which is, as human beings, we only see and understand the outer layer of events. So we notice the evil, the hardship, the suffering, we notice it as human beings. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of His knowledge, His complete knowledge rather, and His complete wisdom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by these very events, He allows for it to happen for reasons beyond what we can comprehend. So what seems to us as evil and hardship and suffering, that's what it seems like to us, that's what it is. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this very evil that we see, this very suffering and hardship that we see, it's part of a process. It's part of a process to a greater good, a greater benefit. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in this story. Musa ﷺ, after seeking permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave Bani Israel, because that was his mission, that was why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him to give da'wah to Bani Israel. After seeking permission to leave them and travel to go learn from Al-Khidr,